Good morning, everybody. Snakezilla here again with another morning board to wake me up. This is the most highly unrecommended way of waking oneself up, I think. But it works for me as long as I don't sit here for hours on end. I find that playing this game with a coffee is a gentle way of waking me up. So, in the words of many a YouTube title, it is happening. I am being called out as a nasty person already for a video that I created where I simply said, based on my belief that Reform UK have a growing sense of community, that I felt Nigel Farage would be Prime Minister. And you know, this is a loosely held belief. It's not something that I haven't tied my colours to the mast, as they say. But rather surprised by what is a just an opinion. Rather surprised by how people can be so nasty over what is just an opinion. But since that video, and again, this alludes to something else I was talking about, I have obviously been recommended more content on Reform UK, and that in turn has meant I have been educating myself, one might say, about you know, the policies. And yeah, it does seem that migration is one of the big topics that Reform UK are dealing with, and from what I can see, it is a real problem. I never knew, I did not realise how much of a problem mass migration is on the southern shores of the UK, and I'm actually quite. What is more shocking is how I don't know, is why it's not really covered, because it seems to me these people coming over from the continent on quite makeshift craft across the channel are bringing with them something which could quite possibly be a lot more dangerous than weapons, and that is the way they think, their values, and you can almost look at it as you know, they're having weapons, concealed weapons. The weapons are in their brain, their belief, their culture, their thoughts, and you know, I'm not saying they're bad people. They might be, we don't know, but there is no question whatsoever that the values of our country are being compromised by being diluted by the values of people we know nothing about. We don't know anything about them, and you know, in a sense, this is really what our armed forces were formed for, is to prevent, to protect really the culture that we have, and to prevent other cultures invading our own. And they talk about multiculturalism. Well, you know, you can have that, but there is a I think you need to take a pragmatic and sensible view on you know, liberalism. Can you have too much liberalism? And I think you can. I mean, how far are we going to go? Just open borders forever for as many people? What is the limit? What is the limit? What if the world decided to arrive on the southern shores of England? Let's just say all of the poor people from poor countries in Africa. How many people is that? It's got to be, what, a billion? Probably over a billion, 2 billion, let's say. What if 2 billion people decided to arrive on the southern shores of England in boats? How would we cope with that? And, you know, under these liberal policies of not seeming to mind how many people arrive, that can happen, can't it? That's allowed under liberal policy, I would presume. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if Africans are allowed, if all Africans are allowed to do that. And why has it not happened? And by the way, the one thing I've never really understood about sort of this liberal view that it's a good idea to welcome all people into our countries is, surely we're then depriving, we're not only depriving actually the poorest countries in the world of their best people, we're depriving the poor people in those countries of any sort of improvement. We're consigning them to poverty, possibly. I mean, surely that's got to be the case if we're taking their best people. You know, we're ensuring that they stay oppressed, and then also if Liberal policy says anyone is welcome, we're opening the door to their worst people as well. So we're taking the best and the worst. These countries are then left with mediocrity, and we sort of reinforce our status as rich nations with very sort of lost identities. There's no real clear culture, a monoculture, you might say. Multiculturalism essentially means we don't have a culture. So yeah, I don't really understand it. Let me know what you think in the comments.